Welcome everyone to round number 2 of September 18th Star Wars Unlimited Local Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana is a place to check out. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. You walk away with your promo pack and a pack of the current set. At the time of this recording, LOF. And as I said in round number 1, we are playing Trilogy tonight. Majority of everyone that came played Trilogy. We did have a rule in place for someone who didn't play Trilogy. The person that did bring Trilogy would just get one of their Trilogy decks banned, and then they would have to play the other two, and then the opponent who only had one deck would have to play both decks and try to beat out both decks. And then the only way for the winner who brought Trilogy to win was to have to win with both of their decks. But again, most people here were playing Trilogy, so we didn't have to worry much about having to use that. Now, game 1, we didn't get lucky to see our opponent's Trilogy decks. We got at least the right side player, but I didn't want to show that because it was kind of a mess. With the left side player for round 1 not really showing their Trilogy decks. But here, before we jump into game number 1, I did want to show the decks, and I did want to show what we are going to be looking at for banning as well. So the players will select what they want to ban, and then we will go from there. So our right side player has brought us double blue Finn, Force Anakin, LOF, Force Yellow, and then in the glare, as much as I hate it, that we still have it, but in the glare is Thrawn, JTL Yellow, which over here we have then Boba JTL Yellow, Luke Spark of Rebellion, blue, and then we have Obi-Wan LOF Force Red. All right, so let's see what they are going to ban out here. So this should be the selection right here for you all, and looks like we are going to ban out Force. So it looks like we are going to lose the Obi-Wan Force Red, and we are going to lose the Anakin Force Yellow, leaving the players to win with their decks being Boba Yellow, Boba JTL Yellow, Luke Spark. I guess Luke doesn't have another leader in the game just yet, so it's Luke Blues, and then Finn Blue, and then Thrawn JTL Yellow. So let's get into game number 1. All right, folks, so here we are for game number 1. Let's discuss the decks really quick they have decided to go with. We have Finn Double Blue over here. So Finn states on him, and he's just a kind of a really fun deck, is that you can tap him, and then you can defeat an upgrade on a unit, and then give that unit a shield token. I actually did a Finn Poe Twin Suns recently. I think it was actually the Saturday of this week, where I did a Finn Poe Twin Suns, because it's funny enough, someone pointed out to me while I was researching what to play, is that you can use Poe to flip under a fighter, swing that fighter with Poe on it, and then you can use Finn's effect to pop the fighter and then put a shield on the fighter. And since Poe never technically has an epic action to attach himself to a fighter, it's just a pay 1 tap him, you can constantly use Finn to kill off Poe. So it's really funny. And then, so all this deck here is straight up control with upgrades attached to it so that you can give those shield tokens. But it's just basically heroic control. And then over here we have the iconic Luke Skywalker, which states on him that you can tap 1, pay 1 tap him when you can place a shield token on a heroic unit you played that phase. They both flip for 6. Finn does the exact same thing on his backside of you can kill an upgrade, give a shield token to it. And then Luke states on it, on attack, you can give a heroic unit a shield token. And then we have blue here. So we have two blue heroic control strategies going up against each other in game number 1. So let's jump into it. All right, here we go. Both players have officially finished up their resourcing for the turn, so we'll see who is actually going first. It looks like Luke is going to be going first here, so they are going to look through the deck. I think the best first turn play would be Loth Wolf, but anyways, that is a good blocker. So Finn is just simply going to pass here and pick the. Looks like they just decide to claim the initiative, unless I think they actually started with initiative, didn't have anything to play their first turn. Anyways, the Loth Wolf is a 3/3 Sentinel that can't attack your opponent's base. So anyways, we're going to go for Finn himself, I believe was. I don't even have an idea what that Finn even does. So anyways, we're going to go for the effect of Luke to give it a shield token to that Loth Wolf, because it technically does have thing. That is the Finn unit from, I believe, Twilight of the Galaxy. I believe it completes an attack. You can, I'd have no idea. I have never read that card. If you're going to tell me that that card does something interesting, it's going to now trigger its effect, I believe, Yeah, when it completes an attack, it could, I believe, kill I don't have any idea. I'm not going to try to say what the effect is. I've not played that my entire life. As we see a Vigilance giving a shield token to the Loth Wolf, and then we're going to mill up 6 there. Ooh, it looks like we did get rid of a Luke Skywalker. A really couple of good, valuable cards there. A 𝐒𝐲 there, too, which, of course, both these players should be on because they're on double blue. We do see a Rose in the our Finn player's hand, as we're going to go for Doom. It's Doom, everybody, as the Luke Skywalker is going to claim. Anyways, Doom on regrouping phase, you can give one experience token, an experience token to every other non-vehicle unit on the board besides Doom, which is pretty nice. Which does mean you can trigger, of course, Finn to kill the experience token to then give a teal token to the Finn because of the way Finn works. He just needs to defeat an upgrade to then get a shield token. And then you have the Rose in hand, which is defeat a shield to give an experience token to a unit, which is kind of funny. Power of the Dark Side, of course, paying the 5 cost here. Ooh, power. Not exactly you want to see something, especially because you have the Rose Finn combo line going on right now. But again, Doom doesn't really matter. As long as you don't kill Doom, you can easily just continue that line there. So anyways, the Finn is going to die, leaving the Doom, because again, Doom can give experience tokens to a bunch of people. So anyways, we're going to flip for the Finn here, because again, the 6. Then we're going to smash out a shield here, Doom, because Doom is a 2/7, so he is pretty big on the body. We're going to go for the Rose effect here, and then we're immediately going to give herself a shield naturally. And again, on attack, you may defeat a shield token to give 2 experience tokens to a unit. We're immediately going to go for the Finn, and then swing again over the Loth Wolf, because again, the Loth Wolf has to continue because of that 2 shield tokens on it, continue to be a nuisance. Anyways, it looks like Luke hasn't flipped yet, or maybe Luke's flips on. I think Luke flips on. No, he should flip 1 sooner than Vader. I don't remember him flipping on 7, but again, like I said, I haven't played him in a long time. So yeah, I thought he was a flip on 6. Oh, I guess maybe the no, Finn's a 5. Holy crap, I totally forgot. Right, he's a 5. The experience token to kill their All right, so what's going to happen here is that Finn is going to, on attack, destroy his own upgrade on him, and then he's going to be able to give himself a shield token, which means he can run into the Loth Wolf and die. So anyways, we're going to give him -3 to Finn, immediately knocking him out, and then immediately going to go for the effect of Anakin, and we're immediately going to give -3 to the Luke. So Luke is only going to be able to swing for 1, and immediately going to be able to kill off the Doom. I'm not sure why he... Oh, right. Anakin gave -3 to Doom here. Anyways, Rose is going to kill her own token so she can kill off Luke there. So both players have burned out officially their leaders. But Luke did give a shield token to his early age, the father. The prestige art of that card is honestly really, really cool. Again, I like the Mortis timeline from Star Wars, the Clone Wars. That was a really cool one. That's the only prestige art I can't seem to get my hands on is a prestige father. It's like the only one I'm kind of like missing of the father, the son, and the daughter. I had the daughter and the son in Prestige. I just don't have the father. But anyways, of course, Rose did knock out her own shield token. That way she can get 2 experience tokens to herself. And then we're going to have the Anakin swing into the base there for his 5 damage. Again, we can have Finn trigger here, kill one of the experience tokens to give Rose a shield token. Again, Rose can kill her own shield token, and then she can pump herself up by another 2 experience tokens, which is pretty nice. A real nice way just to pump up stuff. So anyways, we're going to have Anakin kill off the Kanan Jarrus. We just can't let the mill trigger there and the heal, even though technically you would get 2 heals here every turn. So we're going to go for entrench onto Rose here just to stop out the Rose for at least 1 turn, even though it doesn't really matter because the Finn next turn can technically kill the Rose, can kill off the entrenched upgrade here and give us Rose another shield token, which then she can burn to then pump herself up by 1 more. So we're going to swing over at the Anakin, popping the shield on it so that we can immediately just kill it so we don't have to worry about it as we play out both a Rey and then a 𝐒𝐲. Both the 𝐒𝐲 is in the glare, but you could at least stop seeing it. And we have the Rey here. I believe the Rey can reduce the cost of your next on attack. You reduce the cost of your next heroic unit. I don't know. Again, I only have like 1 copy of that Rey, and I don't play enough of that. So anyways, we're going to knock out the 𝐒𝐲 here. We just can't let that 𝐒𝐲 survive because honestly, why would we? So anyways, we're just going to swing for the Rey on that, and then we're going to give him a shield token over on the attack over to the Anakin, which is real nice because then Rose can immediately knock that shield out to allow us to get 2 experience tokens on the Anakin. Here, again, that's really nice as well, because we can just go Finn to, I guess we're not going to knock out the, I guess we can just trigger to give the 2, we can swing Rose at the Anakin or the Lars, pop the shield off of her for safety, but then kill Anakin's shield and then buff him up by 2 more, which is really nice here. So anyways, we're just going to go pump off, we're going to swing over, kill off the Anakin there, and then immediately be able to, because again, Entrench gives you a +3/+3 bonus, and then knock out the shield off of Anakin, but then we're immediately going to go for the -6 Oscar off of Luke, but it's not going to be enough to immediately kill off the Anakin. We're then going to go down for a Doom, and then we are able to at least still swing the Anakin, even for a little amount of damage, and then we're going to go for a Fail the Dragon over the Luke Skywalker, immediately knocking it out off the board. It looks like the Finn player is definitely going to be winning this game, say right now, as Doom is going to pump up Anakin, Rey, and Rose here. Again, the combination with Rose and this Finn is really nice. They did both come out in Shadows of the Galaxy, so the combination makes complete sense here, that you could just beat upgrades and then give shield tokens, which is nice because that does mean that you do have the ability to swing into just stuff. As we see Owen Lars swinging into anything basically on this field to kill himself, and then looking at the top 3 here. So yeah, so it really doesn't matter where the Owen Lars swings into. We're just looking at the top 5. We're going to grab a Force unit into our hand here, as my camera has decided it's going to somewhat stop focusing. I didn't know what they put into their hand there from, of course, the play of Owen Lars, which again, if they're looking like for a Luke Skywalker to get that -6 to something, they had there, as we have now the Mythosaur coming down. It comes down shielded, and I believe it can give everything else Mandalorian for the Mandalorian trait while it's up on the board. I can't remember if it does anything else. That's not a card you see, as we see the Nim Outpost Constables as well for the 2/6 blocker. We're going to swing over and basically kill that blocker, then knock out the shield here to give immediately the Mythosaur 2 experience tokens. So the Mythosaur, I believe, is a 10/10. So now is a 12 onto the board. Here we're immediately going to give another token over to Anakin here, and then we're going to swing Doom and Anakin here. Then we're going to go trigger the Finn effect, Finn to not. Looks like we're going to knock out the shield off of, knock out the experience off of Rey, and then give a shield. And then we're immediately going to continue to buff all our characters up by 1 more, with, of course, Doom. I do not see the Luke Skywalker player coming out of this game right now. So this definitely feels like it's going to go to Finn 100%, which is really cool. We get to really see this deck. Again, people coming up with decks like for Trilogy is just so neat, because you really don't play these decks if you're thinking about it in a sense of standard constructed. You would not play Finn in standard construction anyway. So we're just going to have Doom knock out the shield off of the Village Protectors. He only takes back 2 because, again, he's a massive 7. But unfortunately, it looks like another shield is going to be coming down here. Village Protectors to lose that shield from the Rose. The Rose will, of course, lose her shield as well, as we see it restored Arc 170 in the sky. And we're going to go for Nebula Ignition, which destroys the entirety of the board for everyone that's not upgraded. The majority of everybody else on the field is upgraded. And I think, honestly, we're not going to have to worry about anything else. I think it is time to wrap up this game here, because the Mythosaur is swinging for 13 damage points. Then you still have the Rose, the Rey, and the Anakin to swing as well. So it looks like we're just going to be scooping up the game, and then Finn, Double Blue, is going to walk away with the win over Luke Skywalker. As a reminder, now that we're going into game number 2, our right side player has to swap to Thrawn JTL Yellow, while our player over on the left can swap to their Boba JTL Yellow, or they can stay with Luke Blue. So they have to win with both of those decks now to officially end out this series, while the right side player just needs to win with the Thrawn Yellow deck. So let's move into game number 2. So welcome to game number 2. Let's really discuss quick what we got here, as we see that the left side player has decided to swap over to Boba Yellow. As a reminder, they can swap between the 2 decks that they have, again, if they had lost. So Luke can be swapped out for your other deck if you lost, and then you can go back to it if you think that you have a better chance to, say, win with this deck, and then force that game 3 to try to win with your other deck. So we have Thrawn DTL Yellow that states on his front side, and it's also the showcase as well. This player has actually both Thrawn showcases, the Spark Rebellion's Thrawn as well as the JTL Thrawn. So anyways, Thrawn states on his front side as when you use a when defeated effect on one of your cards, you may double that effect. You won't tap them. When you use a when defeated effect, tap him, you can double tap that effect. He comes out for 6 on 4, 6, and does the exact same thing on his front side, but you can only double tap your effects once per turn. And on the other, and then that just gives us basically control strategy. What do you expect? The Thrawn is control. You're just basically killing things and then playing control. Here, Yellow, we got really good control stuff like Legacy Run, which on death can deal 6 damage, divided how you want among your opponent's units. Or, of course, if you double tap it, 12 damage among your choice among your opponents, so that you could just do it that way, which is really fun. You do have like a sneak attack, so you can sneak attack that in and then kill it on the end of your turn and then trigger Thrawn, which is really nice. Anyways, after that, we over here have Boba JTL yellow. So this, of course, Boba Fett states on his front side, when you deal non-combat damage to your opponent, you could tap in to deal 1 indirect damage to your opponent. He flips 4/6. He is a 4/6 on his vanilla on as a unit, or you can attach to a vehicle and give it a +4/+4 upgrade. That states that when he is flipped and attached to a vehicle, you could deal 4 damage divided among your opponent's units as you choose. So we have a strong, just straight up control strategy over here against a sky kind of ping strategy, where you're going to use indirect non-combat damage and then ping your opponent with the use of all of the indirect damage that the JTL gave us. So with that said, let's jump into the game. All right, it looks like the Boba side will be going first, thanks to our little Thrawn Funko Pop character, showing us who has the initiative here. As we're going to put down a 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴 Starhopper, and then we're going to go for it's a 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴 ship over there, and then we have a Director Krennic on the other side, as we have a go for the guerrillas that come down and deal 3 indirect damage. If any of that indirect damage goes to your opponent's base, they can restand themselves. And then Director Krennic as well can reduce the cost of your when defeated cards by 1, as we see a coming down with, of course, a Night Sister as well, which on death can draw 1. Apologies for, of course, the my camera deciding it's done focusing. As in the space, we also have the TIE Brute that on death can heal 2 damage. Again, any one of those cards can be triggered by double tap by Thrawn here. So anyways, we're going to swing the TIE Fighter into the 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴 and the 2, then do 2 damage to it, and then deal 2 damage back. We're going to go for 3 damage points on 3 indirect damage points coming from the guerrillas here. Again, the one problem with this Boba leader is 100% that indirect damage that this Boba leader has that it can do, because again, we're going to deal 4 indirect damage to our opponent here on this attack. And I apologize for my camera not only having a glare, but also, of course, deciding to not focus anymore. So anyways, we are going to be able to take all the indirect damage onto the both the Onyx Brute and then the Squadron Brute, and then onto the Night Sister. We are going to double tap the Night Sister effect to draw 2 cards on her defeat. We only take 1 indirect damage at the base, and then 2 from the 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴. Again, since we did not take any indirect damage from the Guerrilla Warriors at the base, we don't have to worry about them restanding per their effects. So we're going to go for the Onyx to knock out the 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴, and then we're going to have to deal with the 3 indirect damage that are coming down. So we're going to deal all of that to the base here, as the Onyx is going to take 2 damage from that attack there. And then we're going to go for, of course, it looks like the Slave 1 coming down here, and then with a indirect damage coming in from that one. We're going to go for the Geonosis to bounce back the guerrillas back to our opponent's hand, and then we're immediately going to move on from there. Again, Slave 1 when played deals 1 indirect damage to your opponent, but if you have Boba Fett either as a leader or as a unit, you can then give it do 2 indirect. As my camera finally decides it's ready to start focusing back onto the game, we're immediately going to go for, of course, flipping Boba under there, killing off the we're going to immediately kill off the Brute. Then that's going to double tap. Then Thrawn's going to double tap the Brute effect to heal us a bunch, and then we're going to see Power Dark Side to kill off the good old Boba there, and then we're going to bring out Thrawn to immediately kill off the guerrillas, because the guerrillas did do the indirect damage over at. We're able to hit the indirect damage onto the base as well. My camera focused it for a second, and then decided done focusing, and it's back focusing once again. It's fun. Anyways, we're going to go for the droid missile platform in the sky for 2 that on death deals, I believe, 3 or 2 indirect damage to your opponent. Anyways, then Thrawn's going to attack the base here. That is the first damage on the Boba yellow side, as we see another droid missile platform coming into the sky here. Ooh, that is pretty nasty here, but we're going to go for Cad Bane. We're then going to grab both of those. Again, he can grab units with remaining health of 7 or less. Both those droids are at 2 points of health as well, so you can grab both of those free of charge. Anyways, we are going to see a sneak attack go into the resources here, and then that's basically anything. As well, if Cad Bane decides to attack, your opponent can either let you draw a card from the attack or get back a unit. Cad Bane is just going to, he has to steal Cad Bane. There's nothing else you could do about it, because Cad has to steal a non-leader unit. Anyways, so that rescues about both the droid missile platforms, as we see Thrawn swinging in for the 4. Very interesting gameplay. It looks like the swing might have gone now to the Boba side. It's not over just yet here. But the problem is that's a lot of indirect damage that's about to come down. We do see a super laser blast, so we are going to go for a super laser blast, but that is going to be a whole lot of indirect damage coming in to the base here, because again, we are going to be able to kill off everything here. So we're going to go for the indirect as well, and then I believe that everything has to die off the board. So we have the indirect there. We're going to get one more indirect damage from that. So basically, 𝐂𝐏 is going to be saved at the time of the super laser blast. So how it works, if you're wondering, is you super laser blast the field. Since 𝐂𝐏 was under the control of our left player's 𝐂𝐏 Bane, that 𝐂𝐏 Bane dies, and then you rescue the card. And then you deal with the indirect damage. So the 3 indirect damage from both missile platforms coming down onto the 𝐂𝐏 Bane here. Because of the fact that then you just take the 1 indirect damage from Boba over to the base. So anyways, we're going to then go for the Devastator to not use one of its damage points to kill off the 𝐂𝐏 Bane, and then using the remaining 3. Then we're going to go for no glory on the results to take the Devastator to then kill it off the board, so we don't have to worry about that big ship in the sky, which is pretty nice. So anyways, when Devastator comes down, you deal 4 indirect damage of your choice, because the Devastator's secondary effect states that you get to choose where the indirect damage goes. So the 1 onto the 𝐂𝐏 to kill it, 3 onto the base, and then 1 more for the Boba. And then we're going to go for the 2 damage from the Slave 1 onto the Onyx Brute, and then 1 damage from Boba onto the base here. This is getting kind of tight on health for sure. So anyways, we're going to go for, of course, a Desperate Commando here, and then we're going to go for Planetary Bombardment. That is going to be 8 indirect damage, because the Slave 1 is not a capital class vessel, so they cannot do the 12. So that will be able to do 3 damage there. Then they're going to double tap the Thrawn, and then be able to heal off using the rain damage to then give a -1/-1 over to Slave 1, and that's going to be enough to where we can use Vigilance to kill off Slave 1, and then heal off the 5 here, and then pass. The game has been very good back and forth. I'll give both players that. It's been a definite game of back and forth where both players have been able to counter each other in very interesting ways and plays. Again, they are both playing, in essence, some very different control aspects of each other. While the Thrawn Yellow has much more the Thrawn GTO Yellow has much more access to way better control cards because of being in the blue coloration. It's still a good back and forth game. As we see the Ruthless Raider coming down, a Merciless Content to kill the Ruthless Raider. That is going to be 2 damage to the base, and then on death do 2 more damage. And then we're going to go for the CR90 Relief Runner coming on down as well. So the Boba leader did decide to take the initiative here, because it looks like the only thing they were able to play that turn was the Ruthless Raider here. So the CR90 does have Restore 2 on the attack, and as well on death can Restore 2 to your base, which then Thrawn can double tap so that you can use it. So anyways, it's going to be a change sides. Oh no, it's automatically change sides. You take control of one of your opponent's units, and then that they have to then decide to they take control for the turn here. So funny enough, they took control of the CR90 Relief Runner. Thanks to change sides, it would have been able to swing that turn for our opponent. But unfortunately, a Avenger comes down and kills it off. But our Boba opponent does get to trigger the when defeated effect, because it technically did die on their side of the board. Oh, another change side, and then a Merciless Contest to immediately remove the Avenger, so it is not a problem in the sky. And then we're going to go for the Bazine to show an Avenger, the red Avenger, by the way. So looks like that's going to just be dropped out of the hand, and immediately going to be get their Boba player draw 1, because again, Bazine can remove 1 card from your opponent, can look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 card. If they do discard 1 card, they get to draw 1. As we see the Chimera coming down as well, which allows on play, it can choose one of your cards with a when defeated effect and then trigger that effect. So anyways, we're going to go for Palpatine to deal 4 damage to the Chimera. Interesting play there. So anyways, we are going to go for the double tapping effect. So anyway, 6 damage over to the Chimera, killing it, and it's going to be able to make 2 TIE Fighter, 4 TIE Fighters. It makes 2 TIE Fighters on death. But the problem is now how do we get out of both the 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐴𝐻 Starhopper and out of that or the 𝐒𝐒𝐉𝐴𝐻, and as well as the Emperor. Ooh, we got the play right there. As you can see, the Bazine going after the Emperor. It looks like we're probably going to be deciding on going for the Cad Bane play there, right there. That is under the 7 threshold, because again, the Emperor has 5 health left and the 𝐒𝐒𝐉𝐴𝐻 has 3. I thought he could. No, I think he catches at 8. Anyways, the math should math there. The players I know can do math. So anyways, that's really good there. The Cad Bane capturing both the Targaryen Starhopper as well as the Emperor there.
Cat just knows that he just knows how to do business. Yeah, it's just business, my friend. And he just knows how to do the bounties. Anyways, a really interesting start here as we see the striker, the strike ship into the sky, which of course does have raid 3 it does have raid 3, which allows it to swing for 3, but it has no natural attack points, so these TIE fighters can kill it on the crackback. So it looks like we're going to knock out 3 TIE fighters with, of course, the IG-2000, and it looks like this is going to be a possible scoop up from yes, it looks like it is going to be a scoop up from the Thrawn Yellow player, giving Boba Yellow the win, which means these 2 players will have to compete with Thrawn JTL Yellow against Luke Blue. Welcome, folks, to that all-important game number 3. We've already discussed both these decks. We got Heroic Control versus Villainy Control. Who will take it all? Let's find out together. Here we go for... It all looks like the Thrawn player is going to be going first here as the Luke player finishes up their siding. And then we're going to go for the Director Krennic play, again reducing the cost of all your when-defeated guys by 1. And then we're going to go for the Restore Arc 170 coming down in the sky for Luke Skywalker. As a reminder, Luke has to pay 1 to give a show token to a heroic unit that was played that turn. So you never really can get it on your first turn play. As we're going to go for a pay 1 for the Night Sister Warrior, because again, of Krennic's reduce the cost there. And then we're going to be able to swing in for the 2 damage from the Director Krennic onto the base here, as well as the 2 damage from the Arc 170. Anyways, we're going to go for the Concord Dawn Interceptor in the sky, and then we're going to go for a Desperate Commando, which of course can get its cost reduced by 1 as well by Director Krennic. I do like the art of the promo art for Director Krennic from the JTL promo packs. It's a really cool art, by the way. And then we're going to go for Calm of the Storm to rest one of our opponent's unit. Rest one of your units, give it a +1, give this shield token a +1/+1. As we see the legacy run is down. Again, like I said, when defeated, you can deal 6 damage divided of your choice. Then we're going to go for, it looks like we're going to go for a entrance onto the Concord Dawn Interceptor so that it can get a little more punching power. And then we're going to swing in and then we're going to basically swing in for 6, but restore 1 because of the Arc 170 here as well. So anyways, that's really looking pretty interesting here because the Legacy Run can smash into the shield over the Concord Dawn Interceptor. And then because of the effect of Thrawn, we're able to deal... double tap the ability to deal 12 damage divided how we want to. So we're going to see a good old Village Protectors come down, pop the shield from the Village Protectors over to the from Director Krennic. We're going to then smash the Legacy Run into the shield over the Concord Dawn Interceptor, and then we're going to trigger the effect. We have 12 damage we have to come in. The Concord Dawn Interceptor is naturally 3, but it looks like a 12 is going to be enough to knock out the Concord Dawn Interceptor and to the Arc 170 here, as we see another, again, Legacy Run. By the way, Legacy Runs are typically 5, thanks to having Director Krennic still up on the board. Those Legacy Runs are now 6s, or 4s here, because again, Director Krennic's effect to reduce the cost by 1 is really nice here. So anyways, we're just going to go for the Village Protectors to kill Director Krennic, and then we're going to immediately double tap, swing in the Night Sisters to kill the Village Protectors, and then we're going to be able to kill off the then we're going to double tap it to draw 2 here. So that has been going to mill 6 there. That's some pretty good mills, but unfortunately, thanks to that Vigilance knocking out the Legacy Run could not trigger its effect to kill anything. So anyways, we're going to flip the Thrawn to come down on the board. We're going to go for a Chimera to target the Desperate Commando, and then because of the fact that Thrawn's now on his backside, we can actually use his once per turn ability, and then we can, of course, double tap that. So anyways, we're going to swing, we're going to hit for 2, because again, as a reminder, it got a -2/-2 because of Desperate Commando, and then Desperate Commando is going to swing in and kill the Luke. So the Thrawn and Desperate Commando were able to get rid of Luke thanks to the fact of the Chimera. Again, the effects of cards on their backside, on their front side, get reset when the leader is awakened. So just remember on that one. As we got the Quill coming down, again, on attack, you can discard the top card of your deck, and then if it's a then if it shares the same aspect as your bait, you add it to your hand. And then we're going to go for Kanan Jarrus. We did see the Bazine knocking out an Anakin there. And then we're going to be able to give a shield token to, of course, the Kanan Jarrus that was played that turn. But unfortunately, Kanan Jarrus is immediately going to be getting knocked out by a Power of the Dark Side. The Chimera is going to swing on the base. And it looks like the game is now going in the favor of Thrawn, which makes complete sense. Once Thrawn starts playing all that control, what are you going to do against it? roll over and die. That's what I'm going to say. Anyways, we're going to go for a Luke. We're immediately going to knock out the Thrawn with a -3/-3. That's enough to kill the Thrawn there. That is going to be a nuisance that we do have that Luke Skywalker that we're going to have to figure out how to deal with. But unfortunately, we'll just have to wait on that one. As we see a Brute coming down in the sky, an Onyx Squadron Brute coming down the sky. The Chimera is going to swing. We're going to go for a no glory on the results to immediately kill off the Luke there. Remember, no glory on the results technically states that you take control of the unit and then kill it. So typically under normal circumstances, you do have to give your opponent a unit and then they technically kill it. But most people just immediately just put it in their graveyard because they immediately know it's gone. Then anyways, the Luke is going to another Luke's going to be coming out. We're going to give a shield over to that Luke, and then Luke is going to kill Bazine, and then we're immediately just going to remove that Luke altogether using Merciless Contest. We're going to kill the Onyx Brute so that we can get the heal off of that as well. And we're going to go for Childson, revealing 2. So another Childson and a Vigilance here to give it +2. They did have a third card in hand, but apparently it was either not a blue, which would wasn't a blue aspected card or a Vigilance aspected card to deploy there. So, or again, they can choose up to 4. They don't have to show every single card in their hand. So they could easily have shown 2 and decide those are the only 2 while hiding some like power or control card they don't want their opponent to know about. So the Charleston is at 4 here as we have the Loath Wolf coming down to the board here. Unfortunately, the Loath Wolf's gun just died to a Vigilance here. And then our Vigilance is going to kneel 6. Wow, that was 2 Village Protectors, 2 Concordon, a Queen, and I forget the last card, but that was 2 Ups in there. A lot of 2 Ups. Anyways, we're going to go for the Entrenched onto the Chimera, meaning that it cannot swing into the opponent's base. We're immediately just going to go for Power of the Dark Side just for the fun of swinging Power of the Dark Side because pretty much this is it. The Childson wins the game and it's 28 health points. There's no way for Luke Skywalker to come back to this. We're just going to give a fancy lightsaber because you could choose any unit to give an equipment to. We're going to give a lightsaber to Childson just for the fun of it. And then Childson's going to go for the game, making the win go to our Thrawn yellow and Finn blue right side. But it was some good games. The Finn one was really cool. We got to see Finn just go off there with all of those tokens coming all over the place, mainly because thanks to Doom and Finn's effect to constantly give those shield tokens and having the Ray up there was really nice as well. Because then, the Rose there, because then we could kill all those stuff and then get back experience. Those was really good. And then we saw a really good matchup with Boba JTL yellow against Thrawn JTL yellow. And then in the end, Control with Thrawn JTL yellow was able to outpace and basically control out the board of Luke blue. But I want your thoughts, guys, down in the comments on this Trilogy match. Have you guys tried out Trilogy? What are some of your favorite decks right now to play in a Trilogy? What are your thought processes with building Trilogy decks? Mine is always to try to bring 2 decks I know are pretty good, and then 1 overpowered deck, and then I know my opponent's going to get rid of the overpowered deck, where I had two okay decks. Or you could build 2 good, really powerful decks, 1 okay deck that, can win, maybe can win a game, you pray and hope it wins you a game. Pray and hope it wins you a game, and then go and then have your 2 powerful decks that your opponent has to get. So they have to get rid of one of your powerful decks, leaving you with 1 power deck and a good deck. So it's a lot of interesting deck building and mind mechanics on what 3 decks you bring together. And especially with that restriction that you can only have 3 copies of the exact same card between all 3 of your decks. And also it gives a lot of different aspects of trying out different leaders you would never bring to constructed because, well, why would you ever bring Finn blue to a normal constructed game? You probably wouldn't. But again, it just gives different building styles and all that. So let me know if you guys have tried that out. Let me know your thoughts on the gameplay. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you next time on Modern Dragons TCG.